Have you ever done so much research on something you're about to buy, then when the time finally comes to buy it, you do a complete 180? Yeah, that's how Jalebi was born. It was supposed to be a white build with icy blue RGB, but somehow became this dark magician girl with an oriental vibe. Now, before I talk about the CTE E550 case and all the components I used in my build, I want to first talk about why I built this PC. Because it's not made for gamers. This is for creators. It's for rendering large 4K clips, editing hundreds of clips, and exporting them the same. So I splurged on an i9 and went heavy on the RAM too, with a total of 4 16GB DDR5 sticks. And for reference, my last PC had 2 8GB sticks. This is Bay as well, absolutely love her. I didn't have the heart to break her down because we went through a lot in our time. I made this in 2019 going into 2020, so it's literally almost as expensive as the new one I just made. The motherboard is a Gigabyte Aorus Elite AX, which I bought for 2 main reasons. It was compatible with all of my other components, and it was available at my local Best Buy. A nice surprise, however, is that it has built-in Wi-Fi and an amazing I/O at this price point, with plenty of fast connectors. Also, it has the perfect black colorway and massive heat sinks. Overall, it's a very quality board and it's very rigid. Okay, let's talk the Thermaltake Cte E550 case. And I think it might be the first E550 case build on YouTube. This case wasn't even my first, second, or third choice. Originally, I wanted something bright and colorful and also even considered water cooling. Well, I dodged a bullet. Okay, maybe in the future, but that stuff is expensive and hard to maintain. This case is new from Thermaltake and it features glass on 3 panels with a closed top, and I love that. It's really a display piece, like a work of art that becomes the centerpiece of every desktop or wherever it's put. And it's also a massive case. The case itself has so many nice surprises. For one, the I/O is actually hidden. So instead of having my cables dongle out of my PC, they are all hidden within the top panel that covers the I/O. And when all of the glass is removed, it's so easy to build inside this case, even for beginners like me. With 3 glass panels, fan placement was key. I went for 3-in-3 intake fans at 120mm and then used the AIO fans for exhaust, building a positive pressure inside the case. And overall, my temperatures have remained very stable. Next is the GPU. I purchased the PROART 4060 for 2 main reasons: aesthetics, and it's decent. Now, certainly you can do better for the money, and that's almost always the case, but for content creators and video editing, the RAM and CPU is far more important, and a decent GPU will easily get the job done. Still, it's a lot better than my older 1660 that I bought for $450 in 2020, so yeah. Finally, let's talk RGB. I didn't want to go crazy with RGB, but I ended up doing a bit more than expected. The power cable is RGB, the RAM has RGB, which is controlled through the IQ software, and these neon strips are plugged directly into the LED headers on the Mobo and controlled with Gigabyte Control Center. So let's talk about some issues. Since I finished building this PC, there has been one major issue, a system crash. Now I don't know why, but one day after downloading Windows 11 Pro and booting my system, Chrome started crashing a lot. And the same day, the entire system crashed. Windows hit the blue screen and I was stuck in a boot loop. So in order to hopefully fix the problem, I went and bought a new SSD, M.2 SSD, same basic specs, 2 terabytes, 7 something thousand megabytes write speed, but it's from Samsung. My older one is SK Hynix. At the same time, I also reinstalled Windows on the PC and it started working again, so I haven't opened the Samsung just yet. So for now, everything is working, but just in case something goes wrong, or maybe this was a corrupt SSD, we'll find out pretty soon. I do have a replacement. If this isn't going to fix it, then it's probably an issue with the CPU, the i9. That would be a major headache. But for now, it's working. For now, we're good. But other than that, it's performing amazingly. Videos that have taken 10 hours and more to render on my old PC now are done in 10 minutes. So yeah, the i9 along with 64 gigs of RAM is a proper upgrade for my workflows. It's also bolstered by the excessive USB 3.2 ports, allowing faster movement of files from my SD cards to my PC and to my external WD Easy storage. And the fans are super quiet and are very responsive. Every time I start rendering large files, the fans kick in immediately on max to make sure the CPU temperatures don't push further than about 60 degrees Celsius. And aside from the case fans, the NZXT KRAKEN 240 has been top notch. The pump is also customizable with the NZXT Cam app. Now let's talk about costs. This whole setup, everything together, has cost me a little less than $1,500, so not too shabby. Most of the cost was the CPU and the GPU, obviously, but the motherboard is a close third, and I think the AIO pump is the fourth most expensive thing, coming in at about $130. But everything I used in this build, all the fans, all the thermal paste, I've got it linked down below as well, so you guys can check it out and see exactly what I used if you want to get a build similar yourself. And if you're wondering, my monitor is a curved Gigabyte wide display that I purchased back in 2021 for about $350, and I'll link that below as well. And I'm going to do a proper deep dive into my desk setup, the lights that I use, all of that in another video. So make sure to smash the subscribe button because it also helps really helps grow the channel. But you get to stay in the know with the latest tech and some other cool features. Until next time, take it easy. Peace.